The first example of what makes Bach's Cello Suite Movement 1, an example of Baroque music, is the high complexity in the use of large leaps and fast-moving 16th notes. Throughout the entire movement, it is all 16th notes with a handful of 8th notes thrown in there. But there's also large leaps, most of them spanning kind of a fourth or a fifth. Sometimes there's a sixth, and these leaps at the end kind of get as wide as an octave and a fourth, I believe is the largest leap. And it's gonna sound like this. The second piece of example that makes this Baroque music is the shifting of keys. My transcription for horn visually looks like it starts in the key of G major, sounding in the key of C major, and throughout the piece it kind of moves to D major with sounding G major with the additions of the C sharps as well as the F sharps, and before transitioning back to G major sounding C major by the end of the piece. So that first little bit is G major sounding C major, and then just a few measures later we kind of get into the D major. The third example of what makes this music Baroque is the use of scale patterns and chromaticism. The scales are kind of everywhere. For example, in measure 20, you have and there's many other kind of scales. The 16th notes will follow a constant scale pattern when they're not doing big leaps. But then there's also the use of chromaticism. For example, measures 25, 27, and 28, there's heavy chromaticism. So I'll play from the second half of 23 until around there or so. That's not the only piece of chromaticism. Really good example that kind of sums up this piece being Baroque is right at the end. Just very impossible for me to play on horn. I'm sure it sounds great on cello. Measures 38, 39, and 40, where we kind of get all of these elements. You know, it's 16th notes, fast moving, large leaps, and the use of chromaticism. We have a constant bass note written D, sounding G, while the upper note continues to ascend chromatically until it reaches a high G, sounding as a C. I'll do my best to play that now. That's all of the examples that I found that make this piece Baroque.